Good morning, everybody. All right, time to draw. Okay, so it's the beginning of the live stream. If anybody is going to watch this after the fact, then at the very beginning I should be saying something, right? Even though there's nobody in the chat. So, some people start their live streams with a countdown. I don't know how to do that. Doesn't matter though. All right. I often start with just with these abstract doodlings. But it's more interesting if there's a face in there, right? So today's face, what is this? It looks like the Roland Emmerich Godzilla. Except he had a super thick lower jaw. Rawr. Still nobody in the chat, although I did just hear my phone make a little tweet noise. I mean, not necessarily a Twitter notification. I don't have all my notification sounds memorized. I know the WhatsApp one, though. It's the one that chimes most often. Meow. You hang out there. Alrighty. Maybe Rose will call later. No promises from her or me. La, 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 la. Oh, look at that big fat brush. Not sure I'm up for it. I often draw big lizards, I've noticed. I guess it's my childhood love of dinosaurs coming to the surface. Ah, that is the WhatsApp chime. That's Rose. There was a time when that could have been any number of people, but that time has passed. Let's see, what'd she say? She says, okay, I'll join you later. All right. I'll take that as a statement of intention. Well, it's still short of a promise, but yeah, she'll probably be on later. Alrighty. I typed yay into the chat. Hooray. Marvelous. Great. So this bird I'm drawing up here, or it's pterosaur, it's not meant to be remotely accurate as a dinosaur. It's more the critter that Arzak rides. Arzak is a character from French cartoonist Mobius, and I think Tarna from the Heavy Metal movie was largely inspired by Arzak. You know, even though she got a wardrobe reduction and sex change for the movie, she rode a giant dinosaur-like bird. Not giant, but big enough to carry a human. Whoa, what's up with that? Hey, Ed, good morning. What is going on? My lasso tool is not working. This is very strange. All right, well, I'll do something a little different then. I'll do it like this. All right, so what happens if we do that? No, it's not, definitely not what I wanted. But that, also not what I wanted. Okay, so changing size of the canvas is not intuitive. No? Oh well, let's see. What's happening? All right, now let's try this. Better. Nope, not that one. All right. Oh, lots from Ed. See, this is why I need Rose in the chat, because I'm looking at the Cintiq, and the chat is over on the Surface Pro. Ed writes, I stopped listening to the Market Chameleon live stream to come here. Damn, Ed. Thank you. Appreciate the sacrifice. So Market Chameleon streams in the morning, huh? East Coast time. They do all right. I've been thinking of moving this live stream to an evening time slot. I reserved Hidden Fortress from my library. Thanks for the recommendation. You are welcome. And you have to reserve in advance and then go through hazmat procedure at library pickup to pick up your documents. Yeah. That COVID thing is ongoing. It is ongoing. Let's see. So I'm going to turn that back on. And get that color again. What's happening? Just a little bit of lag is all. So pop right across the color wheel to green. No. I'm going to go over here. Ed, do you watch Rick and Morty? And if so, what did you think of season 4? All right, and I should keep talking, right? Keep some audio interest here in the stream. Oh, you know, I meant to hit OBS lets me do little recordings inside of recordings, but you know what? Actually, Fresco allows me to just export a time-lapse image of this thing that I'm drawing here. So I might do that later. Ed says, I haven't watched Rick and Morty. Well, then you'll have nothing to say on that topic. Fair enough. Oh, that's not what I meant. All right, let's go back to this layer and select that. Let's go to town. Actually, let's do some selecting. Oh, there is no magic wand here. There is no selecting in that way. This is not Photoshop. There's a major lag in my consumption because I mostly watch Blu-ray discs. That's interesting. I think my other laptop plays Blu-rays, but I wouldn't know. I've never tried. I am very much a creature of the current moment. I do streaming. And I've actually even stopped pirating stuff. I pay for everything that I watch these days. And I'm even wasting my time and money, mostly money, I guess, maintaining my Netflix and Disney Plus subscriptions because I never watch anything on those. But I'm not going to cancel Disney Plus because The Mandalorian is supposed to start later this month. So Ed, what's a good Blu-ray that's really touched your soul recently? Oh, Better Call Saul, right on. I liked Better Call Saul better than I liked Breaking Bad. It is a good show. You can probably tell I like spirals. I make a lot of spirals in my drawings. And I really like spirals with this rake tool. All right, and now the eraser. Nope, that's not an eraser. What is going on here? Oh yeah, I suppose it is, actually. I suppose it is. So Fresco probably does a bunch of cool stuff that I don't know how to do because I have not taken the time to watch any tutorials or read any documentation, which I guess is a testament to its usability because, I have Photoshop experience and Clip Studio Paint experience, and just looking at this interface, I mean, I can pick up tools and find controls and start doing stuff, even if I don't know exactly how this program was intended to be used. I do know that it's meant for touchscreens, and my Cintiq is not a touchscreen. The only thing that it registers is the stylus. And I just use it in this warm-up stage because it is very loose and very... it's good just for, playing around when you don't really have a specific end image in mind. Later I will be switching to Clip Studio Paint. That is my main art program. And Clip Studio Paint also does a bunch of stuff that I don't know how to use. And I can't say I haven't watched any tutorials or read any documentation for it. I certainly have. But still, it is a dense program filled with features that I've never figured out how to use. Don't even know the names of, probably. What's Ed say here? Kim Stanley Robinson's Galileo's Dream was exquisite listening. I very much enjoy Kim Stanley Robinson novels, so maybe I'll check that one out. Or I'll give you an audiobook recommendation if you're into audiobooks. I just finished the second book in the series, The Book of Koli. Koli is Koli. It is by, what's the guy's name? Well, it's the same author who wrote The Girl with All the Gifts and The Boy on the Bridge, neither of which I have read, although I did see the movie of The Girl with All the Gifts. And Alexa, who is the author of The Girl with All the Gifts?
The Girl with All the Gifts was written by M.R. Carey and published in 2014.
There you go, M.R. Carey. Book of Koli, M.R. Carey. So I just finished the second book, Trials of Koli, which is newly released. Probably have to wait a year or more for the third volume. So it goes. I'll be ready for it when it comes. Mm-hmm. Here, check this out. Ed writes, I'm now listening to an audiobook about how group identity and not ideology is a major driver of socio-political events. Yeah, I'd certainly agree with that. Oh, wow. Apparently I was drawing on a small portion of the screen. Well, not a small portion. Still, I left a sizable portion blank. So this is the neat time-lapse feature that's built into Fresco. So we'll export that. Let's see. Let's call it. What is today's date? It is the 6th. So we'll say 6 October 2020 live stream lizard time lapse. How's that for a very long descriptive title? All right, and now I'm going to post that. Oh, I'll leave that up for you to look at. Where'd it go? Fresco. I'm going to post that to Twitter right now. Let's see, tweet. Today's live stream in progress. And we will put it in there. All right. So how do I tweet it? Okay. Tweet. Huh. Why is it not tweeting? I don't know. Anyway. Let's close this. And let's pop on over to Clip Studio Paint. And we'll pick up where we left off yesterday. Let's go back to the chat. Title to come once I boot up the battle station. What is the battle station, Ed? Saw the Rose reveal reel. Nice one. Although the reveal was partial, to be sure. Battle Station is gamer speak for a desktop computer. Oh. Yes, I am definitely a casual gamer. All right, before we go any further, let us get these table curves in. So, curve ruler. What? Try again. Price it up. We'll go from the other end. And with bells and whistles, etc. So, is your PC souped up for gaming? My other laptop, the one that I mostly use for audio production, is a gaming PC. It's a Republic of Gamers machine. What's going on here? There's a gap. Huh. What's that about? What if I just try to fill in that gap freehand? Oh, it's obvious. It's obvious. There we go. There's a little irregularity there, but so what? How it goes. All right, back to Derek now. Or his outline, actually. Ditch that. And that. So these monitors that are built into the tabletop, I don't use those. I don't include them in the finished drawings. All right. That's a bit of a tangent, isn't it? Let's try that. Alrighty. Now, goodbye, rough layer. Hello. Actually, we need a tones layer now. Dear KMO, I'm setting up Wallstad no filter aquarium. Oh, let's see. I'm not much of a gamer, but it's definitely souped up. I'm typing all this on my Android phone. Yeah, typing on a smartphone for me is something to do when you're locked in the trunk of a car being taken to the site of your execution out in the wilderness somewhere, Or it's to say, hey, I'm right outside. Come on down, something like that. Oh, right. I need a tones layer. So, now what do you say? It's more of a mini aquatic ecosystem than a fish tank, inspired by Foo the Flower Horn YouTube channel. So, Ed, this is an actual physical environment, something inside of an aquarium, or is this digital? What are you talking about? There we are. Well, that's very interesting. What's all this stuff around her mouth? Is that on the ink layer? It is on the ink layer. Huh. All right. It's not supposed to be anything but pure black on the ink layer. So let us adjust. All right. Let's do the mouth again then. But she doesn't need to have a wry smile here. She needs to have more of a neutral smile. All right. And I forgot her coffee cup when it comes to the tones. Scale this up a bit. Physical aquarium with plants and small aquatic creatures. A mini indoor pond. Oh, very nice. I feel the simulation just gave me A new side quest. Thanks for the tip. All right. Sanguine. Sophrosine. What does that mean? Sanguine is blood. Sophrosine. That I don't know. Oh, yes, and she's supposed to have a piece of paper there as well, isn't she? Let's just that. That's a little big, isn't it? It's more like a tablet. All right. Oh, come on. I meant to do that. Invert. And then... Yo! All right. There. Nope. It's still the eraser. Let's try that. Okay. What else we got here? Physical aquarium. Yeah, already wrote that. So you were inspired to create this. I would call it a terrarium. You're calling it a indoor pond, but could be I don't have a very clear idea of what you're talking about. You got this idea from a YouTuber, eh? Does he have, or she have a like a feed trained on the habitat? Can you monitor it 24/7? Intended use is the sanguine from the humors. Santa. Interesting. I think there's more to say on that. The humors. Does everybody know the humors of whiskey? How's it start? The quacks in newspapers be cutting their capers. Alexa, play the humors of whiskey.
The Humors of Whiskey by Patrick Day on Amazon Music.
Let your quacks and newspapers be cutting their capers by curing the vapors, the scratch and the gout with their medical potions, their serums and lotions, upholding their notions, their mighty put outs. Who can tell the true physic to all that's pathetic and pitch to the devil, crap, colic, and spleen? You'll know if I think if you take a big drink with your mouth to the brink of a jug of poteen. So stick to the creature, the best thing in nature, for taking your sorrows and raising your joys. Oh, what botheration, no dose in the nation can give consolation like Pacini boys. No liquid cosmetic to lovers athletic or bodies pathetic can give such a bloom as so sweet by the flowers in the garden of flowers, or gave their own bar such a darling perfume. And this liquid so rare, if you willingly share to be taking your hair when it's grizzled and dead. Oh, the sun is the merit to yield a true spirit so strong it will shake all the hairs from your head. Then stick to the creature, the best thing in nature, forsaking your sorrows and raising your joys. Oh, since its perfection, no doctor's direction can cleanse the complexion like Pacini boys. Then stick to the creature, the best thing in nature, forsaking your sorrows and raising your joys. Oh, since its perfection, no doctor's direction can cleanse the complexion like Pacini boys.
Yep. What do we got? He produces very serene videos with soothing classical music in the background. Lots of close-up macro shots. The blood aspect is for if I have to go 40k on someone. Sanguineous. Lol. All right. I've never actually played tabletop Warhammer 40k. Played a couple of digital versions. But really, I enjoy learning the lore more than I enjoy playing the game. So that was kind of a lame version of the Humors of Whiskey that Amazon picked out for us. All right. So I think this tabletop is just a flat tone, which will make my life a bit easier. Let's see. I'm going to put that on the same layer as the character tones. I miss Rose, says Ed. Oh, Ed. You hopeless romantic, you. She'll be here. She'll be along in a bit. Rose has had a vague ambition to become a YouTuber. For a while now. Although her genre would be self-help or self-improvement. She takes in a lot of content in that genre. Let's see. So stick to the creature, the best thing in nature, for sinking your sorrows and raising your joys. All right. All right, here we go. Paint bucket magic time. Let's see, let's ditch the rough layer. And boom. Oh, it's not the tone I wanted to use, though. I want to use this tone. Let's try that again. Boom. Yeah. All right. Now we do need a background layer. All right. It's not like Photoshop. You can't save a selection, huh? Oh well. Wait, what's this? Copy and paste. No, can't save a selection. All right. So it goes. So the selection is Control D, deselected. I think now we want this one. Yeah. And now look at that. She's very articulate. Oh, let's see. Let's go back. This was cool. See you all about. See you, Sanguine. And Ed says she's very articulate. She is very articulate. I agree. I imagine it's fairly obvious to people who know me why, after a month on Filipino Cupid talking to so many different people, she is the one I'm still talking to now that I'm no longer on that website. All right. Whoa, it's a little dark, isn't it? Or we can come down from here. No. Here. There. All right, and then, oh, let's see. And for the top. Come on. Keep going. Keep going. Oh, look at that. Look at that space down there that I missed. I realize this is the very boring part of the process. All right. All right. What do I bet? Oh, look at that. There we are. Whoops. All right. This one. Oh, one color again. There. Aha. Let's try a pen rather than an eraser. Let's try a smaller pen. There we are. All right. I have an idea. Okay. Now. This is just an exercise in manual dexterity. I find it challenging to express complex thoughts via chat. Yeah, I hear you. I find it difficult to express complex thought via Twitter, which is even more limiting than chat. Although I think I see you on Twitter from time to time, Ed. All right. The character tones, we're going to go dark to light. So, like that. No, not like that. Like that. Except wrong way. Let's try that way. All right. All right, now. I interact mostly with FinTwit community on Twitter, financial Twitter, though I recently got into a minor dust-up with Green Party of Canada partisans. Ah, tell me about that. Oh, wrong layer. All right. On the ink layer. There we go. All right, now erase that, delete layer, delete ruler, good. Curve ruler. Ed writes, the leftiest candidate was disqualified, and then she started criticizing her party on Twitter. She claimed that it's anti-Semitic to have an election during a season with so many Jewish holidays. You know, I have no comment on that at all. Not my clubhouse, really. Alrighty. It didn't stick to the ruler. It shouldn't be possible. Okay, weird. There we go. All right, Mr. Curve Ruler, delete. Do one over here. What's happened to our ink layer? Did I erase it? What? No, maybe I did erase it. Oh, great. Delete ruler. I think I deleted the layer, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. So... those I've already got, so we want the curve ruler. Yeah. I want to get rid of... There we are. Alrighty. And I pointed out that the Jewish holidays drift with the lunar calendar and election date is fixed solarly. That's a tough word to say. But yes, I hear what you're saying, Ed. Although I don't know that I would have come up with that right off the top of my head. I don't know all that much about Jewish holidays and culture. All right, getting closer. Getting closer. You know what? I'm going to put a line here too. All right. Sometimes I drink wine at night and then have to delete my tweets and comments in the morning. Yeah, been there. Although, these days, one of the very positive aspects of my talking to Rose all the time is I don't drink. At least not by myself at night. Let's see. Pen. There we go. Oh, look at all this that I never... What did I do? What did I do? Oh well. Easily fixed. So go to character tones. I see what's going on. Wrong layer. All right. Uh-oh. Not what I meant to do. Huh. Huh. So, I drew the base in ink on the wrong layer. I need a pillar over there. So, let's do it again. Oh, this is such a bummer. Okay, I'm on the right layer, ink. I want the curve ruler. Okay. Why can I not delete the ruler? What's going on? Delete ruler. All right. Okay, so my background tones. Thought I had the floor in there. Apparently I do not. So what happens? I just dump the bucket right there. Okay, that'll work. Except, well, here's what we'll do. Go to the ink layer. Nope. Let's pick that up. Yes, okay. And So, now you see the part of creating comics which isn't really drawing. I'm not drawing here, I'm just fighting with tools. This is where I would definitely like to turn it over to the AI. Hey, Ed, if you're still around, that should be a most welcome sound. Here's a quote from Stephen Pressfield's War of Art. The most important thing about art is to work. Nothing else matters except sitting down every day and trying. Yeah, that is the truth. That is truth. All right. So I just typed in the WhatsApp chat. Join us in the stream. Call when ready. It's just Ed right now. He says he misses you. Ed, are you still using that? I forget the name of it. The sort of touch to talk, like ham radio like communication channel. There we go. Okay. Let's save that. And now, back in the character tones. There we are. And I would like to taper that. That's not a taper. That's, oh well. I have long-term relationships with a bunch of British people on Sussex Downs Radio Link. Yes. Zello, that's it. I use Zello often. My peeps are on there. Who was the blind guy in Puerto Rico? What was his name? Hopefully, what is his name? I hope he's still kicking. All right. Now, let's see. Puerto Rico Rick. Right. Too big. We need smaller dots. That. Still too big. All right. I guess we're not going to use the dots here. Now, what layer is that on? Oh no, it's on the ink layer. I've not heard from Puerto Rico Rick in months. Uh-oh. His brother was Big Kahuna at Radio Telescope back in the day. Oh, wow. Yeah, I definitely want to go to Arecibo next time I'm in Puerto Rico and see that. Maybe not next time. I want to take my oldest son. Ed, have you been to China? That might be confusing your backstory with somebody else's. So there's 4 people watching, but only Ed is participating in the chat. Let me encourage everybody to just pop in and say hello. Ask a question. Give me something to talk about. Otherwise, I just tend to go silent and just focus on the art. I have ties to Taiwan. Let's see. I've been to Great Wall Restaurant, if that counts. As part of my bachelor's degree, I have ties to Taiwan. Hi, Les W. Oh, it's Les who says he's been to the Great Wall Restaurant. Well, as long as you didn't leave hungry, I'd say that counts. Ed, was your wife from Taiwan? So your daughter's grandparents would be there? All right. Hi, Les. Ed writes, the blood of Tiananmen was still dry in some places. What were your impressions, Ed? A lady friend showed it to me. You were in Taiwan, or you were in mainland China? You must have been in mainland China if you went to Tiananmen Square. Let's see. Haven't heard back from Rose yet. All right. There she is. Hello.
Hello?
You're on. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Well, for me. for you. Good evening. Yeah. So you're on the live stream. Say hi to Ed and Sanguine.
Hi, Ed.
All right. No, that's not what I meant to do, is it? Rose, would you mute the audio from the live stream?
Okay. Hi, Liz.
Oh, let me get back to the chat here. What do folks say? Haha, there we go. There we go. All right. So you missed the interesting part of the drawing, which is just fooling around in fresco at the beginning.
Oh.
What have you been up to? Or should I save that for after the live stream?
Studying.
Studying. Oh.
Been reading.
Not very interesting. Alas.
Hey, it's interesting to me.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see.
My eyes are tired.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Too much time staring at screens?
Yeah. And researching.
Oops. Ed asks, this morning on our geopolitics on Reddit, someone said that Chinese military budget will equal USA budget in 10 years. Huh. What do you think about that, Ed? You think that's possible?
Yeah, he says if trends continue.
Well, except some trends can't continue.
What if it does?
Well,
What if in 10 years?
Ed, why don't you take that question? What if the Chinese military budget does exceed the U.S. military budget? I think the U.S. has demonstrated that just spending more money doesn't necessarily increase your effectiveness. Now, as I understand it, the Chinese military is, particularly the Chinese Navy, is built with the intention of invading Taiwan. I mean, that's what it's for. And I imagine they could be rather effective if they decided to do, to get in there and replace the Taiwanese government. I mean, effective militarily, not necessarily effective at administering that territory. Okay.
There's more from Ed.
We'll check here. What's Ed say?
He says, they will be happy to have no USA bases in Guam, Okinawa, and South Korea.
Okay, so we will get Peter, I think you mean Zihan. Zihan's America. Pre-World War I, isolated, not so globally implicated. I think China wants hegemony in Eastern Pacific. They will be happy to have no U.S. bases in Guam, Okinawa, South Korea. Well, that ain't going to happen. I guarantee you, the primary U.S. allies in that region are Japan and South Korea and Taiwan. The U.S. is not going to sit back and let China take any of those. particularly Japan. But South Korea is also a very close partner, has been for 50 years or more. In fact, recently Trump tried to get all the U.S. allies to start paying more for their military defense. And South Korea didn't want to. They said, we'd just rather pay you. You just keep your soldiers here, keep things as they are. And Trump said, well, if that's the case, you're going to have to get out the checkbook and pay. And the South Koreans said, how much? What do you want? So the South Korean government is very keen to keep U.S. troops in the country, and the U.S. is also on the same page, as far as I understand it. Okinawa has been a sore spot for Japan, though, because American soldiers have been very ill-behaved in Okinawa, raping and murdering schoolgirls and such. So I think many Okinawans would like the U.S. base in Okinawa gone, or bases. I think there's just the one, isn't there? Ed, do you know? Let's see. Les says, the financial center of the world will likely move to China, according to Martin Armstrong. Oh, I'm not familiar with Martin Armstrong. Peter Zeihan basically says that China is screwed in the near term. He makes a strong case. Yeah, China's got a lot of problems. That's definitely true. Feeding their people is high on that list. Their soil is lame. They use a lot more chemical inputs in their agriculture than the United States does, and the United States is pretty awful about using machinery and chemicals to replace human labor in agriculture. This is the exact sort of topic that that Rose doesn't feel welcomed in. And we weren't talking about this stuff before you chimed in, Rose.
Okay.
It's okay, she says. Not to cramp anybody's style. Alrighty. If the USA lose contest over Taiwan, then that would change the calculus. Yeah, it sure would. Lots of disputation between South Korea and Japan since number 45 came to power. You know, I did a video about the animosity between Japan and South Korea. And in response to that video, lots of people chimed in to say, look, that's the older generation. That's the baby boomers and maybe the Gen Xers. But in South Korea, the young people don't hate the Japanese. They don't really care about that. But the Japanese are still really crappy to their the residents that they consider to be Korean. You know, if you're born in the U.S., it doesn't matter where your parents came from. You're a U.S. citizen. But if you're born in Japan and your parents are Korean, well, you're Korean. It doesn't matter if your Korean parents were born in Japan. They're still Korean. So people who have never been outside of Japan, have lived there all their lives, could still be considered foreign nationals. They have to carry a foreign, an alien registration card. They have to go to the police station and get fingerprinted. It's pretty gross, I have to say. All right. Rose, what have you been studying?
Writing and I'm also looking at candle making.
Candle making. Ah. Whoops, it's way too big.
You know, Ed says if USA lose contest over Taiwan, then that would change calculus.
Yes. It sure would. Now, as I understand it, Taiwan has got a pretty impressive navy. It will not be a cakewalk if China decides to invade. You familiar with that phrase, a cakewalk? Rose?
What?
Are you familiar with that expression, a cakewalk?
No. What did that mean?
It means super easy.
Super easy.
Yeah. Alexa,
Cakewalk.
define cakewalk.
As a noun, cakewalk is usually defined as, formerly, a promenade or march, of Black American origin, in which the couples with the most intricate or eccentric steps receive cakes as prizes. As a verb, cakewalk is usually defined as, to walk or dance in or as if in a cakewalk. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for cakewalk.
Alexa, give me more definitions for cakewalk.
I'm not sure.
You were sure a minute ago. Oh, well.
That was funny, Alexa.
She aims to please. All right.
Do Filipinos miss USA naval base at Spig Bay?
Ah.
I
Well, you don't, because you don't live anywhere near there.
can't say.
Yeah.
Yes, I live very far from there, but I think the current administration does not. I would assume.
Oh, yeah. The Duterte administration certainly doesn't miss it. Xi Jinping doesn't miss it.
Yeah, he's
Oh, 6 Sigma 6 has entered the conversation. Anyone check on JHK? No blog post yesterday. Hope he's okay, because he never missed a blog unless health issues. Oh, well, I will send him a quick email right now. Let's see. Compose. All right. I just sent him a quick email, and he typically responds promptly, so I'll let you know if I hear back from him. Certainly by tomorrow. Let's see. Right layer. Let's choose a marker. There we go. So, it might be that what the North Korean military is to Seoul, Taiwan's is to southern China. Would you unpack that a bit more, Ed? I'm not sure I follow. artillery.
And says North Korea's massive artillery always targeted at Seoul.
That's true. And their artillery batteries are hardened. They're built into the sides of mountains and would be very difficult to destroy. Actually, what I was going to do was a... Nope, not like that. Just... Yeah, more like that. What else we got here? Hey, 100 messages again. Yay, everybody. I'm going to tweet that. Here we go. Oops.
There's more from Ed.
Alrighty, Ed writes.
Cab. Okay.
Even if a sudden decapitation strike is tried against North Korea, a soul-crushing barrage can be launched within seconds. Yeah. Taiwan probably has same capability versus South China. Oh. Largest dam in the world is within range of Taiwan's missiles. Three Gorges Dam. Key takeaway. Invading Taiwan is no cakewalk. True dat. What's going on here? Oh. There we are. All right. That's the message for today. Invading Taiwan is no cakewalk. Really, invading almost any country these days is no cakewalk, even for the world's largest military power. Notice 20 years on, we're still trying to get stuff put together in Afghanistan. All right. Now we need to determine where the light source is. So I figure in the conference room the light is pretty diffuse. It's probably like incandescent tubes and overhead fixtures. I got to grab another cup of coffee though. I'll be right back. Let's see. Ed, give us something else to talk about. What about light underneath the table? Well, that could look cool, but I've set many a conversation in this room before, and it's never been like that before. Actually, I think what I'm going to do right now is rasterize this layer. blur it a bit. Yeah. And select the whole layer. Make sure it's completely desaturated so there's no color in it. Huh, that makes it look brown to me. Anyway. So we'll just say generally it's coming from overhead. Okay, Ed writes, I'm thinking about how the Roman coins progressively lost precious metal content as the empire aged. Yep, from where we get the term debasing. That's a good point, Ed. My point is just beginning. This is just the preamble. All right. Ed's getting ready to roll out the manifesto. All right. What's going on? What am I doing? What am I doing? Sniff, sniff. Ed writes, then we have the British Stamp Act after their 30 years' war with France, which led to the American Revolution. Les writes, back in the Roman times, the coins were successively worth less as there was less and less silver content in them. This time around, the governments will try doing the same trick, but with crypto. Ah, interesting. Part of the new reset. I'm not familiar with this new reset vocab, Les. Where's that from? And Les, are you a gold bug? Oh, right. I guess that question's open to you too, Ed. You used to be, all right. Now I'm a copper bug. Interesting. I've heard mentions of copper recently. Like you're not the first person to say that they're watching copper. All right, so that's too dark. Still a little dark. Copper and potash mostly for the next, let's see, I think I've missed something. Yep, copper and potash. For the next 10 to 20 years Ed says, is like major war driven by financial exhaustion. I'm an arable land bug. Copper will be the new oil. Copper is what led the CIA supporting Pinochet against Allende, right? Was it? I thought it was just a general aversion to socialism. But I'm no expert on that. I like arable land, but if the government decides to tax you, you can't just take it and leave. Exactly. And Ed, I know, has some experience of living in a doomstead, sort of a cultish doomstead. I just know that growing food is really very difficult, and particularly if you are not availing yourself of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, mechanical powered work instead of, work powered by human and animal muscles. It's difficult. Whoops. What else we got here? Now we have lithium in Bolivia leading to a right-wing coup against Morales. That was an interesting one to watch play out. Yeah, it was kind of gross to watch Elon Musk basically just say, hey, the U.S. is an empire. We need lithium. We invade. We'll stage coups wherever we need to. That was kind of gross. I didn't know that, Ed, about Pinochet and Allende copper. Chile has large amounts of copper, that's for sure. There's an old money rule of 3S, 1/3 land, 1/3 gold, 1/3 fine art. Yeah, I don't have so many assets that I need to diversify and preserve them by buying art. Particularly since the art market, there's so many people trying to store money in art or launder money through the purchase of art, that it's created this whole weird situation where, what is considered art, there are experts in what art is, and they've been corrupted, basically. So now so-called artists make absolutely ridiculous pieces of art that seem to require no artistic ability or skill or training. But because people are looking for places to park their money and ways to launder it, art is always attractive. I think the relentless hatred directed against Paul Joseph Watson has kind of driven him crazy. He's not funny anymore like he used to be. But he's got a good video on modern art. It's a couple years old now. It's from his good period. I highly recommend it. Oh, sorry. I've not been looking at the chat. Musk is overrated. He wouldn't be where he is without governmental support and family connections. Yeah, that's the dumpster, or the subsidy dumpster king, is what John Michael Greer calls Musk. I bought 100 shares of his partner, Peter Thiel's company, Palantir. Oh, Ed, gross. Why? Les says, I say, if I can do that, it's not fine art. Ed says, I have a minor in art history from McGill University. McGill is the Harvard of Canada. So what can you tell me about the value, the inherent value of art there, Ed? Alrighty, I think one darker tone for under the table. Darker than that, please. What's going on? I'm just blending. Let's try a pen. Yeah, like that. It's partly because of that youthful choice that I am an Uber driver today. Yeah, I hear you. Art is the expression of the human spirit across time. But as you ferry your passengers, you can teach them the finer intricacies of fine art and geopolitics. I bet you'd get good tips. Although they probably won't really value your financial advice if they're getting it from an Uber driver or a Lyft driver. Or actually, Ed, you said you're doing food delivery now rather than passenger conveyance. All right. Well, there's just 2 minutes left, but I guess I'll start on Joyce anyway. Let's start with the head tails. Come on, what's going on here? There we go. So one up and one down. But actually, I think that base tone is a little light. Just going to do that. And get 2 of those. That one up. That one down. And I like to start, let's go a little more. I like to start with the dark. Let's see. I'm doing Uber Eats and DoorDash, and I like it better. So I get messages about Uber Eats all the time, emails, and they're all in Spanish, because the only place I've used Uber recently was in Puerto Rico, and I made several Uber trips there. So Uber has decided that I live in Puerto Rico and that I need advertisements for Uber Eats in Spanish. Okay, what's going on here? Ah, that's what's going on here. Hey, has anybody been watching Lovecraft Country? I've got a lot to say about that. All right. Oh, wrong layer. Gosh, gosh. Ooh. Rose is still here. What do we got? Les asks, KMO, ever publish a full comic book? It's in the works right now. It's at the printer, actually, right now. Thank you for the morning accompaniment. Well, thank you, Ed. You have been a reliable participant since I started streaming to YouTube as well. This afternoon, I will resume my swimming exercise regimen after a 6-month hiatus. Well, good on you. Swimming is a good exercise. If there were a pool here, I would be doing it. Let's see. No. Save. Okay. Well, we're 3 minutes past 11. Thanks, everybody. I will talk to you again tomorrow.